Good evening, everyone. Hi, good to see you. Or good morning, well, wherever you're watching from and whenever you're watching this. My name is Audrey, and welcome to my 100-day project where I'm exploring mindfulness by using watercolor. Today, I'm joined by Charcoal over here. He's kind of taking a nap, or trying to, I think. Anyway, yeah, it's a new week. It's Monday. Mondays are always kind of hectic, right? I don't know how you guys feel. Yeah, Mondays are usually very busy because you need to prep yourself for the rest of the week. And then today, my husband and I just went to Costco, and Costco always makes me super anxious because it's always crowded. No matter what time it is, there's always like 100 people. I'm like, why? So Mondays are always a little bit hectic for me. I don't know about you. So I'm really looking forward to doing our breathing exercise and winding down and doing some painting today. So let's get into it. Let me go ahead and start our breathing. So here we go. Let me bring us back together. Yeah, I really just wanted to start out with the breathing first because, again, I'm just feeling like there's a lot of thoughts, lots of feeling, lots of just, I don't know. Yeah, just a lot of things going on in my head. And so I really wanted to start off on the right foot. So hi Linda, hi Keith, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Let's see, today is day 17, so let's get into it. I am going to give you just a quick preview of what I'm going to paint. I think I'm going to paint, those Forsythia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, those like yellow flowery bushes, kind of. They're not really flowers, are they? Maybe they're leaves. No, they are flowers. Anyway, those yellow Forsythia plants or bushes or trees, I don't know what to call them. I kind of want to do that, but then I want to do it like really close up and then do like a contrasting background to it. So I think I'm going to use masking fluid. So if you've never used masking fluid before, this is really good for preserving the white of your paper. So if you ever wanted to, paint something that's white, or if you wanted to, save some areas that you want preserved, but then you want to paint a background, and then you remove this masking fluid, and then you can paint in those preserved areas, right? So anyway, so you'll see how it works, while I'm working today. But masking fluid is always good to have. The only tip I have for using masking fluid is to use a tool or a brush or something that you don't care about. So usually masking fluid, let me just grab my little basket of goodies. So this one comes with like a little pen like this, and so it has a very fine tip, so you can either squeeze it so it'll have a fine lines or so, or or you can just use it as is, just unscrew the cap. And then I'm going to use just a cheap plastic brush to scoop it out of there and then paint with it, because I want to save the Forsythia flowers, the yellow parts. I want to save that with masking fluid while I paint the background, because I'm going to make the background kind of dark and I don't want the yellow to, get messed up. So anyway, hi Rena, thanks so much for joining. Hello everyone. So let's get into it. Hello. Okay. I don't have a new playlist, so I hope you're not sick of the music that I've been playing. Oh, hold on. I think Charcoal wants to say hi. Okay, Charcoal, you want to say hi? Hi, baby. Hi, this is Charcoal. Say hi. Say hi. Wave to everyone. It's funny. Like, I didn't know that certain dogs could be such lap dogs, but Charcoal, yeah, look at him. He just like pops a squat on my leg and just loves hanging out there. So I guess we'll be painting with him on my lap. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me zoom in just a little bit more so you can really see the masking fluid in action. And yeah, I don't know what you're painting today, but I'd love to see it later. So make sure to share it with me. And here we go. And like always, if you have any questions, or if you just want to chat, go ahead and type something in the chat box, and let's make this an interactive time. It's not just, stare at the screen while you watch me paint. I really want it to be relaxing for you, but I also want you to, ask any questions that you might have. So here we go. everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, thank you. Rena, I see your comment about that you use white oil pastel crayons instead of using masking fluid. That's actually a really great tip. I currently don't own those, but if I did, I think I would prefer that too. I guess my only question is, and maybe Rena, you can answer this for me in the chat, is after you apply the crayon, can you paint another color on top of it, right? Because if it's oil based, then the watercolor can't, get absorbed into the paper. So correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's why I avoid usually using white crayons unless I really wanted to stay white, right? But in this case, I wanted to preserve the paper, but then I wanted to paint over it with a yellow color. So that's why I didn't use a white crayon. But yes, I totally could have. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for this to dry so I can do the paint peel in a little bit. But yeah, I'd love to hear anyone else, like if you've used masking fluid, what you think of it. I think I still struggle with masking fluid, especially when I use a different tool, because now I gotta like remove this, right? And so it's always a pain in the butt to try to clean these. And that's why I really only use really cheap brushes. And so I usually just end up like, washing this in like really warm water, like hot water, and a little bit of mild soap, because I usually just use it for very rough, masking like this. If I needed very fine lines, then that's when I would use this attachment, right? So the way that the masking fluid comes, it comes like this, like separately, but then if you want to attach this, you just take the cap off and just screw this on, right? And then you can squeeze it out this very, very fine tip. Yeah. Okay, Rena. Yeah, thank you for confirming. Yes, you can paint over it, but then it'll skip that area because it's oil based, right? So if you wanted to stay white, then absolutely a white oil crayon would definitely do the trick. But if you want to paint over it a different color, then use masking fluid. Actually, today I use two types of masking. I use masking with tape and with masking fluid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is the most annoying part, trying to just get rid of all this. So I'm just trying to remove all the big gunks of glue, and then I'm gonna wash it later. But because these are so cheap and I don't use masking fluid that often, I don't really mind this tedious cleanup process. I guess if I used it more, which I kind of want to, I like I said last time, I really like experimenting like this. It is kind of fun. So who knows, maybe I will use it more, and then I'll have to come up with a different way, because I don't want to have to be cleaning this every single time. Because let's face it, I'm just lazy. Okay. All right, so I think this is like 99% dry. So let's go ahead and do the paint peel, my favorite part. Oh, got some rubber stuck on me. Oh, if you're curious about what I used to remove the masking fluid, it's just a rubber cement eraser. So it kind of looks yellowy. It's kind of rough in texture, but you just use the corners and gently peel off the masking fluid. I mean, you can use your fingers too, but I just didn't want my fingers to get all over this area because I'm going to be painting it later, right? So then it's the same thing with the oil crayons. I don't want a layer of oil from my fingers on the paper. So that's why I didn't use my finger. Oh, I love paint peels. Oh, oopsies. I think I peeled a little bit of this side, the other page. That's okay. Ta-da! Oh, I love it. I'll be honest, I don't usually do bold backgrounds like this, but remember how, I really love doing the background for this one. And then even before the Harry Potter series, right, we were doing backgrounds here. and here. So I don't know, I've really gotten into doing background, so I thought I would do it again. And I've been seeing Forsythias everywhere, and so I was like, you know, to really make it stand out, you wanted to do it on a dark background like this, and using a, you know, complementary color like a purple, but I didn't want it to be completely purple because I want the yellows to really stand out. So I felt like a purplish blue would help make the gold, you know, goldness of the Forsythia really stand out. So yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. Oh, thanks, Phil. Linda, use a heat gun and your paper won't rip, or a hair dryer. Oh, on the tape. That's a really good tip too. Thank you. You can tell that I don't use, you know, these borders as often, but I really should, right? So thank you. I will try that next time, since I do have my hair dryer right next to me. Yeah. All right. Well, okay. Well, thank you again so much for joining. Charcoal's been sitting here this whole time. Hi, buddy. Hi. Hi. You want to see what I made? You want to see? Look. Okay, he doesn't care. Anyway, so here it is in this view. Thank you again so much for joining. Today was day 17. And yeah, tomorrow I think I'll just do more of this. I really just enjoy, you know, expressing florals in my own way, whether that's close up, kind of like what we've been doing, or doing it kind of more abstract like this. I'm really trying to push myself to not paint like other people, you know, so that's why I'm showing up. I'm trying to show up a little bit unprepared, like underprepared, meaning that I have an idea of what I want to paint, but I'm not doing like all this research. I am looking up pictures, you know, for reference, but I'm not looking at what other artists have done. So not to say that I'm being super original. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that the point of this challenge is to really be present in what I'm painting and not compare it to other people's, so that I don't have to feel like I have to focus on the end result, right? And I think because I'm not comparing it to other people's, I'm super proud of every single page, right? Because I'm not trying to make it look like someone else's. So I would encourage you to do that as well. Like, I know I put out a lot of tutorials. I just put out a tutorial today about 3 different Mother's Day card ideas, and you might be feeling like, oh, mine doesn't look like hers, or, you know, like I followed all the directions, why doesn't mine look like hers? And I totally understand that, because I follow other people's tutorials too, and I'm like, mine looks like the equivalent of stick figures, you know? So I'm like, what happened? I think that's totally okay. Sometimes it takes a couple tries, right, before you get it, you know, to a place where you feel confident, you know. I am playing around with the idea. I have so many like ideas in my head. Like, I'm one of those people that has like too many ideas sometimes, and then I sometimes struggle with which one to act on first, right? So I have a couple of announcements, if you'll bear with me, okay? So my first announcement is, I think I may have mentioned this last time, but I'm gonna come out with a series of watercolor for kids. And so I have a couple palettes here. I even bought like a bunch from Amazon to kind of test them out and see whether they're good enough. And so this is one set from Target. I mean, just look how cute this is. So there's that, and then there was a couple others that I bought, but I wanted to do a series for kids because I thought when I do my workshops, especially in person, a lot of people come up and ask me, hey, do you teach kids? And I'm like, well, I do, but not like under 10 years old, because I noticed that they really struggled with the concept of watercolor. They're like, why is it so hard to pick up the paint, you know? Or why is it going everywhere? Like, they didn't really understand how to control the water, and it was really difficult to get over that hurdle, right? However, a couple of my friends, they have really young kids, like 5 years old, 6 years old, and they totally proved me wrong. They were like, Auntie Audrey, I can paint watercolors, and they're showing me what they're working on, and I'm like, what? You know? So with that in mind, I felt a little bit more confident about teaching young kids, but I think teaching in person is still really difficult because, you know, like trying to get a bunch of young kids in one room, especially if they're not already in a class. That's just really hard. So I thought online is still the best platform. And like come summertime, you know, they might need an activity, a rainy day activity, right? So this might be a fun rainy day activity. I'm playing around with the idea of like coming out with like coloring sheets. So you can either do a coloring sheet with your child, with your grandchild, niece, nephew, whoever, or you can use it for yourself too. Like these kids tutorials are not meant just for kids, right? I think they will be so easy, so beginner enough that anyone could really do it. So that's my hope. So anyway, that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is I really want to come out kind of like with the coloring sheet that I was talking about, with some kind of coloring book idea. And like over the pandemic, I don't know about you, but like everyone and their mom like published a book about watercolor. And I was like, what is happening? And also, where's my book deal? But anyway, but I felt like, you know, by now there's like so many watercolor books out there. And so I was like, well, how can mine look different? So I hope nobody steals my idea, but I'm thinking of some kind of like watercolor coloring book. And I know those exist as well, but something like really, really simplified. So those kinds of ideas are just kind of swimming in my head. So anyway, and then my last announcement is, if you didn't know, I'm also a Skillshare teacher. So Skillshare is an online learning platform. It's membership based. So when you pay for a membership on Skillshare, you get access to not only my classes, but like thousands of other teachers' classes, and not just in creative arts, but also in lifestyle, fitness, you know, food, technology, business, all this kind of stuff. And so you can try Skillshare for 30 days free if you use my link, and I'll link it in the description box below. But you can take that, and then my newest class is on how to paint greens. And of course, I don't have my paintings accessible to me right now, and because charcoal's on my lap, I don't want to get up. But definitely check it out. I'm gonna release my intro video probably tomorrow, so please check it out. And it's just all about how to mix greens. And I know mixing green is just yellow plus blue. I know that's the simplest way, but with watercolors and actually other art mediums too, there are different types of yellows and different types of blues. So it's really important how you know which ones to mix up in order to get the perfect green, right? Sometimes you want that bright, vivid green, and sometimes you want like a more muted, like sage kind of color. But then how do you know which colors to mix? How do you know when to mix it, etc.? So there's more than just the type of primary color. There's also granulation, transparency, staining qualities, like all these characteristics of watercolors that we don't necessarily take into consideration when we get into color mixing. So my class is kind of all about that. So those are all of my announcements. Thank you for sticking with me this far. I try not to be too like promotional, you know, during these live streams. I really wanted to be focused on, you know, painting, but today was kind of exciting because it's the 1st of May. I also sent out my e-newsletter, and there's just so many things that I had announced. So I want to make sure that you guys are in the loop too. And if you want to continue to stay in the loop, you know, definitely sign up for emails, and I'll have that linked in the description box below too. So thank you again. Let me just look at some of your comments. That contrast background looks great. Thank you, Rena. Yes, on the washi tape. Charcoal is a studio dog. Yeah, he is really loving it here. I know. The bad news is that, you know, he and Aslan are still learning to get along. They still haven't like really met yet. And so when Charcoal's in here, Aslan can't come in. So that's why the door's like really closed, or closed to shut. Okay. All right. Thank you, Linda, for joining us. Thank you so much. I will be live tomorrow, Monday, May 2nd at 8 p.m. Central. So I'll see you then. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Bye.